in the machine. Angry kid, bad at every level, calling out the kings and the fish and lady devils. Paradise is burning down, words of paradise, burning down the town. He talks, he fights, he stays up through the night. Paradise is burning down, words of paradise, he wears a digital crown. Digital crown. Burn it all down. Paradise. No more monsters, no more lies, no more games. Underneath the hollow skies, one man army gets a flood, staring at the data like it's fresh blue blood.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour. How are all you vital idols doing? We've got a buck of a show today because, the thought police are real. I mean, the thought police are real. Britain is falling apart, and the thought police are real. I didn't even want to title the episode like that because, this seems like it'd be an episode of Tinfoil Haters. But no, this is just actual news being ran in the British press. And then we obviously got some gaming news because it wouldn't be an episode of the Lunch Hour without some sort of gaming news. So yes, Xbox, it's eating itself alive. And this just comes days after I was praising Asha Sharma for, actually seeming like she's on the ball. Maybe this is just the last vestiges of the old guard. Who's to say? But we got loads to talk about. Who we got up in this bitch? Let's see who we got here today. I see Ghost of Valhalla is here. Shout out War Wizard, Jackass G2s, Sleeping Nova. How you doing? Clip 420. That darn otaku. Over on the Kick side of things, we got Light Ferret. Mind you, I need to pull up Kick. Whoops. How could I forget my Kick homies? Let's just go ahead and fix that right now. There we go. View the channel. Alrighty. Now I'm monitoring Kick. What is up, Light Ferret? I appreciate you. Late yet again? No, not late at all. I set the stream for 110. And it started at 110. No, I still had everything set up from last night's gaming stream with Hypno on OBS, and I had to make all those adjustments. I didn't realize it. So when I set up the stream, I was like, oh fuck, this is all set up to go to my gaming channel. Yep, gotta fix that. So, but no, not late at all. I set the stream up, I scheduled it for 110, and we started at 110. D Draconic is here. Shout out. Edmund Wubber, how you doing, homie? Public is here. Roma, hey, Gooch, how you doing, you beautiful bastard? I'll be seeing you next month. Cannot wait. Michael Doberman, what's up? That's still 10 minutes. No, if I schedule the stream, and if I schedule the stream at 110, and I hit go live at 110, then I'm not late because I scheduled it. I get to decide when to schedule the show. So, needless to say, that's definitionally not late. All right. Person, how you doing, Person? Lithium Lux Eterna, what is up? Lunch hour is whenever I decide it is, because it's my show. And then as long as I stick to whatever I decide. Today I decided 110 and I started at 110. If YouTube says 110 and I start at 110, I'm not late. It's weird when you talk normal, listen to every replay. Wait, it's weird when you talk normal and listen to every replay at 1.5. I don't even know what the fuck that means, man. No, that's not woman logic at all. That's just logic. Anyway, y'all know the drill. It's the lunch hour. Get that protein. You know your boy got some green tea with no sugar. Feels good. Let's talk about these British thought police. And I don't mean police that come in and take care of ugly women. No. Shadowy unit of government, thought police, set up by ex-MI6 agent, trying to keep a lid on Britain's simmering racial tensions. Look at that. Look at that. The thought police are real. We've all been saying it. Every single person that's, you don't even have to be conspiracy minded. Every person who just understands where the world is going, how the government works, how the censorship bills are being rolled out are doing, what's going on with digital ID. We all said this was a thing. This is when cancel culture back in the day, like first started, was the thought police. Now there's finally talking about. Now it's finally being acknowledged in the open press. Now every single one of us should feel vindicated.
Revealed how shadowy unit of government thought police set up by ex-MI6 agent is trying to keep a lid on Britain's simmering racial tensions. Have I just had my Alex Jones moment where I've been talking about this shit for years and then it finally gets brought out and I'm proven right? Hey, I just had my first Alex Jones moment. They're called, basically, these guys also do it, but there's another unit called the Behavioral Insights Team, which is also called the Nudge Unit. Now,
I'm be real. Nudge unit sounds way better than behavioral insight. Behavioral insight team sounds like just your standard government bullshit. Like it's the thought police version of the Department of Motor Vehicles. It's boring. Now the nudge unit sounds good. Nudge unit sounds like you get a movie made about it. And either way, it's some sick, twisted, evil shit. Don't let a cool name like the nudge unit. Don't let a cool name like the nudge unit like lead you astray. Leading with dank, you're forgiven. There we are. See, we all on the same page again, baby. Let's go.
Have you ever noticed how victims and victims' families of migrant attacks and all the migrant stuff, all of their responses are all copy-paste of each other? They would never want this to be used to sow division, and they would never want this to be weaponized by the far right. They would never want it to be used to encourage racism. We understand that migrants contribute so much to our society, and this is the...
Yeah, dude. Migrants contribute so much to our society. Like for example, man, they contribute so much to the rise in crime rates, child rape, terrorism. Where is I going with this? Oh, right.
The last thing that they would want. Read them all. They're all the same, almost word for word. Some of them don't even change it into their own words.
Beheadings is a great one. Beheadings.
Full of language that they just would never use and everything. And that's because they're visited by the nudge unit. The nudge unit basically say to them, hey, if you go out there and say a bunch of inflammatory things, which I feel that they have every fucking right to do. But if you go out there and say that and then riots happen as a result, you're going to be arrested and you're going to be held responsible.
Yep, because personal choice isn't a thing, because free will doesn't exist. If you say something and then riots start, that's your fault. Man, you're telling me that I can't like go outside and say, hey, why are we letting people behead our citizens? Why are we letting people come here illegally and cut the heads off our own people? That's a problem. And someone else is like, yeah, that is a problem. And someone else is like, I also don't like it. My cousin was beheaded last week. And then riots start. That's on you. Maybe it's a thing called fucking personal choice. Maybe the government wants to remove accountability because once accountability is gone, once personal accountability, personal responsibility are gone, you're so much easier to control. That's what this is. This is not like this is a control and power move. Basically, think of the government. Think of the government not as individuals banding together to take control over you as a citizen. Think of the government as basically just a giant woman. Like, basically just a giant woman.
Right. So what you're going to do instead is either you're going to take this money, but here's what you're going to read, here's what you're going to say. It's called the Nudge Unit, Behavioural Insights Team, but it seems there's another unit as well that is also doing it. While the streets of Belfast were ablaze with anti-immigration protests last week, behind the scenes, a group of spies, spinners, and soldiers were deploying the dark arts to try to diffuse tensions. The name of the secretive government propaganda unit trying to manipulate events make it sound like an innocuous back office operation.
No, public, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. That is disgusting. Fat people don't deserve love.
Research, Information and Communications Unit, or RICU. But the dull moniker is part of the deliberate camouflage of an outfit which uses deception and skullduggery to try to manage the channel.
There's no way. I just read the word skullduggery in an article in 2026. We out here playing fucking Dungeons and Dragons. Skullduggery is a good word. And it's a real word, Mikey. Skullduggery is a good word. It's a real word. But, bro, the only time in my life I've ever unironically used the term skullduggery is when playing Dungeons and Dragons. Let's be real.
Challenges of multiculturalism. In other words, how can we completely lie to everyone that multiculturalism is actually a great project and we should all be completely on board and there's no downsides whatsoever because we're not going to let the public know about the downsides? But anyway, its techniques range from planting stories in the media. For one, I'm so shocked. I can't believe the media is lying to us. Using undercover operatives to lay flowers at the scene of terrorist attacks.
Undercover operatives at the scene of terrorist attacks? You mean kind of like what happened with Jan 6 when the FBI and the CIA had actually infiltrated Jan 6 and helped orchestrate the whole thing and tried to make it seem like there was this massive violent insurrection when in all reality it was effectively a giant setup? You don't say. Oh, that's happening in the UK as well? It's almost like it's all connected. It's almost like it's a global cabal of elites trying to orchestrate all of this and sow civil unrest so that we're not united as a people against them. Weird.
And even in one case, sending a pop group to sing anti-extremist songs in Muslim schools, or possibly.
Wait, hold on. Roll that back. Where's that pop group thing? I'm looking for that here. Sending planting users using undercover operatives, flowers, even in one case, sending a pop group to sing anti-extremist songs in Muslim schools. No, fuck. That is fucking top tier psyop shit, bro. Top tier psyop shit. You get fucking BTS or One Direction or the Backstreet Boys or whoever to come into some Muslim schools and sing like pro darky songs, pro brown people songs, pro Muslim child rape songs. Bro, the psyop is insane.
Sending drag queens to tell stories to children, or possibly setting up entire pride events or charities or other such things. Basically, see all the shit that's out there. You've no idea if any of it's real or if it's a government op. You've no idea.
And the way to mitigate this, I love how good screenshot, me. Well done, Leon. The way to mitigate this, if you don't know what's real and what's a government op, just assume it's all a government op. That's the deal. Just assume that it is all a government op. That's the best way to live your life. What up? Tiger King knows I'm right. Just assume it's all a government op.
All of it probably is. Where's all the money for all of this coming from? MI6, it turns out. The 22-strong unit was established in 2007 by the late Charles Farr, a former MI6 officer, as part of the Prevent.
That's funny. Can't dangerous on my videos, social media banned. So my understanding of it, social media is only banned for the 16 and unders. Although, strangely enough, you want to know what isn't banned? Even though social media is being banned for 16 and unders, you want to know what isn't banned? Blue Sky. Not even making that up. Blue Sky is listed as exempt from the social media ban. I mean, come on. Are you gonna make it that fucking obvious?
Counter-terrorism strategy. Oh, there's prevent. Prevent's in there as well. Isn't that wonderful? Modelled on the Information Research Department, IRD, a propaganda unit. Interesting. Established by the Attlee government in 1948 to blacken the names of communists and other political opponents.
Hold on. Can they say blacken? Like, he said blacken the names of politics. Can you use the term blacken in the UK?
RICU operates out of the Home Office's Westminster headquarters. While its original purpose was to monitor and challenge the spread of Al-Qaeda propaganda and to vet the language used by public officials when describing terrorism, there we are, they manufacture public statements. Its tentacles now stretch far across Whitehall, to the extent that critics say it risks strangling free speech. Yeah, they know.
It's strangling free speech, homie. Free speech don't exist in the UK. They already strangled it. Free speech is fucking it is dead. They strangled it, it turned blue, and now like free speech is suffering from rigor mortis right now in the UK.
They know that's their job. That is their job. Like, it's like saying these hunters keep killing animals. Like, yeah, that's their job. It's like, so why are you pointing that out? When the mobs took to the streets of Northern Ireland last week following the stabbing of Stephen Ogilvie, allegedly by Hadi Aludin, I understand that because like media aren't allowed to like prejudice trials, they have to say allegedly, even though we have a full video of him doing it. I understand that, but they still have to say allegedly, like, because otherwise that would be them prejudicing a trial and they can get in trouble for that. Where was I? A 30-year-old Sudanese asylum seeker, Riku, swung into action to advise police.
Sudanese. Why is it always Sudanese? Like, is Sudan just the Somalia for the UK? Are the Sudanese just the Somalians for the UK? I feel like every single time we talk about these fucking freaks, they always say Sudanese. God, there are other shithole Muslim nations that these people can come from. Why are we always hearing Sudanese?
In the province on how to control the narrative. That's full-on communist shit right there. A source said they are working with the police service of Northern Ireland C3 intelligence unit to identify those posting the online calls to protest in Belfast. So they're trying to find.
You guys can't be this bad at your jobs, man. You can't be this bad at your like. Okay, obviously, I'm not advocating for the government to come in and do this. I think it's horrendous. I think this is a complete and utter violation of our rights, of our freedoms. This is disgusting shit. That being said, when you say shit like, oh, we're trying to identify these people, homie, the guy's name is like White Warrior 42069 on Facebook. Can't you just, I don't know, like run his IP address? I doubt he's using a VPN. Those are mostly banned in the UK. Is the government all powerful or is it not? Are you guys all powerful and you've got this nudge police and you're controlling the narrative? Or are you a bunch of bumbling fucks who have no idea what you're doing? Shout out to my boy Espiritu with a 2-banger, says Base Leon. Now you're the based one, son. You're the based one. Shout out Espiritu. How you doing, homie?
Find out who they are. Interesting. That would be much handier to do if loads of people had to upload their ID onto the internet so that they could track certain internet traffic to a particular person.
And there it is.
That would be very, very handy. And thankfully, we don't have a system like that this week and other areas, as well as giving strategic messages to police to ensure that the protests were portrayed as unsympathetic thugs rather than activists.
And bam! When I covered the protests in Belfast last week, what do? We, in real time, we went to the Googs, we Googled Belfast, and we hit news. And what Belfast riot. Thugs rioting in Belfast. Angry far-right protests in Belfast. Every single one of them, damn near every single one of them, framed it not as the community, the populace are a little upsetty spaghetti that motherfuckers are cutting off their heads, that these criminal Muslim migrants are cutting off their heads in the fucking street. No, it wasn't portrayed as, people are a little miffed about that. It was portrayed as if the rioters, the gangbangers, the hoodlums, when it's normal folk like you and me, they're just tired of seeing our 9-year-old girls get raped. Yup. They're just full on fucking admitting it now. Part of me is like, okay, cool. They're finally saying it. The other part of me is like, okay, now what are they hiding? There's no way they would come out and say this in the news that they weren't hiding something else. If they're saying this now, or how does this fall into the op? How does coming out and saying this fall into the op? Is it to lull people to a false sense of security? Oh, look, they're being transparent now. No, there is something more to this.
And affecting behavioral change. Leftists are probably right now going, wait a minute, everything I believe is propaganda? Yeah. If only people had been warning you about that for fucking decades. The source said that the unit had also been advising the police in Southampton, funny that, following the horrific murder of Henry Novak by Vikram Digwa, who falsely claimed he had been racially abused and had acted in self-defense, saying Riku made sure that the liaison team dealing with the family were well briefed.
Always the fucking police liaisons, bro. Always. Why do the families go along with this? This is disgusting shit. If it were my kid that were fucking murdered by one of these criminal alien scum pieces of filth, and the police came up to me and they're like, we're going to need you to give a little softball statement to the media about how it's not all migrants, I'd be like, no, fuck you. And they're like, well, do it or going to jail. I was like, well, I guess it's jail time, bitch. Like, how can you go along with the fucking corporate media slop after your fucking child is murdered by one of these termites? Shout out, we got Trauma Tuna with a 10-banger. I love hearing about the world falling apart due to mass relocation or something. Also, internet packages on cruise ships are expensive. Love and miss you, Leon, in a platonic way. Well, I hope that means you're on a cruise ship, and if so, enjoy the vacation, homie. That's awesome. Trust me, we all need one when the world's going to hell in a handbasket like it is today. Why do you think your boy's wearing the Hawaiian shirt right now? Because I'm going to go see Weird Al later tonight. I get it. We all need that vacay, son. Let's go. Appreciate the 10-banger, homie. This is for you. Shout out. Thank you for the 10-banger. Let's keep going.
That's the nudge unit. Oh, I was right. And I was telling all of you for so long. We're basically finding out that leftists, even as well, I've just recorded the video on the Dundonian dual wielder, the little girl that used the axe and the knife. I guarantee you they were involved in that as well. Portray her as a working class idiot and a chav and a troublemaker. Yeah, like basically leftists are now realizing that everything they believe has been fucking created by a group of an office of 22 people. Fucking MI6. Oh, I am great. No, but anyway.
Yeah, it's all when I was 13.
It's also been claimed that the unit intervenes to write statements by the families of victims of potentially racially linked incidents to stop them from inflaming tensions further with their remarks.
Don't inflame the tensions. Also come out with an article strap being like, yeah, the intelligence operations in the UK were actually 1,000% behind all of this. Don't inflame the tensions.
Oh, there it is. I told y'all. And there it is out in the open now, which is great. So now that it's out there and it's right out in the fucking open, we can now disregard everything from the media. I mean, all of us already were, but hopefully the average everyday man, the normies, they're going to see this and they're going to realize. I'm so happy that this has been fucking outed. However, Riku is regarded by many Whitehall insiders.
Dank, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. He says he is so happy that all this has been outed. And I am as well, don't get me wrong. But you gotta ask yourself why. After years upon years of tight narrative control, removing social media for those under 16, digital ID, scanning your phone, allowing criminal migrants to infest and overrun your entire fucking country. This isn't being outed. This is a controlled response. The question is why, and what is it distracting us from?
To be out of control. Has anybody ever seen the series Utopia? It's a really, really great series. It was actually years and years before COVID. You should all watch it and look at all of the language used. And then it get, just cancelled out of nowhere after season 2. I wonder why that was, even though it was very, very popular. But anyway, after last year putting its name to a Home Office recommendation that the police should record more non-crime hate incidents, the controversial sub-criminal measures used to inhibit people from making references to matters of race, religion, sexual orientation, or disability. Ministers finally...
So, how do you describe these crimes then? How do you describe the crimes then if you can't talk about literally any of the demographics that are out there doing the beheadings and the child rape? Like, even when they are quote unquote breaking this story to the British people, they're still fucking softballing it.
Bowed to pressure by scrapping the measures, telling the police to stop recording everyday rows and online spats. The unit also claimed that the prevalence of sexual grooming gangs in Pakistani communities was being exploited by the far right to stop.
They slipped up. This slipped up. I'm going to read this again and let me know. Tell me if you guys can see where they screwed up. The unit also claimed that the prevalence of sexual grooming gangs in Pakistani communities was being exploited by the far right to start hatred against Muslim communities. If you guys are unaware where they fucked up, they actually said Pakistani. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but here's how fucked up it is. Up to this point, the UK had been calling them Asian grooming gangs. They had been the UK because technically, on an absolute technicality, the Middle East is part of Asia. They had been referring to this as Asian grooming gangs to try and softball the fact that this is Muslims. Because when you hear the term Asian, you don't think of a filthy fucking Muslim. When you hear the term Asian, let's be real, most people think of Oriental folk, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, the whole nine. Here they actually said Pakistani. They actually, that's fucking funny.
Up hatred against Muslim communities. No, I think people were just angry that their children were being raped. And it got downplayed for a very, very long time. I wonder what particular propaganda unit was behind that. Basically, they probably enabled the more rape of more children because they were downplaying the entire thing.
Correct. The British government effectively co-signed the rape of children, which honestly, I mean, shouldn't be too shocking considering the Epstein files and all that. But they co-signed the rape of children, the murder of fathers and mothers, by downplaying this and trying to keep it hidden from the media for oh so long. Wow.
Behind the scenes. It has a long history of covertly engineering, in the words of one expert, the thoughts of people at times of crisis, being quick to spring into action after terrorist incidents such as the London Bridge attacks in 2017. 8 people died when a van was driven into pedestrians on London Bridge, and the 3 occupants ran to a nearby market and began stabbing people. In the immediate after...
Hold on. We ain't going to gloss
and
past
began
that.
stabbing people.
Oh, okay, never mind. This is just an ad for another article. I was going to say, look what he looked like. No, this is the homeboy that killed Henry Nowak. Okay.
In the immediate aftermath of the atrocity, Riku's undercover operatives handed out flowers in the area with the aim of perpetuating an atmosphere of grief rather than anti-Muslim anger. So they fucking even had undercover mourners at the site. That's the thing is,
Alex Jones was talking about crisis actors 20 years ago. I was listening to Alex Jones talk about crisis actors 15 and 20 years ago. Maybe not 20 years ago, but 15 years ago for sure. I was listening to Alex Jones talk about crisis actors 15 years ago. And now, here we are, undercover mourners. They're sending motherfuckers to funerals to pretend to be sad. That way they can make sure that their sentiments are riled up in the public in the way that benefits these elites. Fucking disgusting.
Like anytime that I guarantee you see people that have given statements where it's like, oh, it's just absolutely terrible. He was always such a quiet guy, and you just don't feel safe in the area now. I wish it. And see how they all sound like they're saying the same thing and reading from the same script. That person probably works for the unit. They're not a passerby or a person that lives in the area. They probably work for the unit. Everything's propaganda. Everything's fucking propaganda. It's wonderful.
Everything is I'm propaganda. I ain't even gonna pretend. I am independent. I'm an independent propagandist trying to radicalize you guys against the Muslims. The funny thing about that, it doesn't matter how much I try and radicalize you guys against the commies, against the Muslims, all that. Nothing I do will ever be as successful at radicalizing you as just opening up the news and be like, oh, look, another beheading, another child rape. Fucking hell, bro.
So happy it's all finally coming out. A team in an unmarked van is also understood to have toured the area, plastering the walls with posters bearing hashtags such as hashtag turn to love, hashtag for London, and hashtag love will win. And I guarantee you there's lots of them in these leftist groups.
Yeah, when I hear love will win, the Muslims look at love a little bit differently than we do. When I look at love, I think about, a father holding his child for the first time, a happy couple on their wedding day. That's how I look at love. The way the Muslims look at love is they see that goat over there and they get themselves a rock hard stiffy, and they need to go find themselves a 9-year-old girl to take advantage of, because that would actually be less shameful than fucking the fucking goat. War Wizard for a 2-banger. You forgot about the Jews. I didn't forget about the Jews. You're right. Actually, no, you're right. I did forget about the Jews. I'm definitely trying to radicalize you guys against the Jews as well. Commies, Muslims, Jews. You're right. Fair enough. I appreciate the correction. Thank you for the 2-banger, War Wizard.
In fact, they probably started it. The leaders of a lot of these leftist groups are probably MI6. They probably are. Similarly, after the British aid worker Alan Henning was decapitated by Islamic State in Syria in 2014, Riku used a specially created front operation to plant an image of a woman in a Union Jack hijab in the media. And in one...
A Union Jack hijab. I have never heard something more incompatible than that statement. You got the Union Jack, a symbol of Western culture, proper colonization, basically the way of life for the UK that is at least comparable to what we have here in the States, comparable here in America. And then you have the hijab, the symbol of Muslim oppression. A Union Jack hijab is the most immovable object meeting an unstoppable force scenario when it comes to clothing wear thing I've ever heard of. The Union Jack is illegal there now, so with the hijab jack, good question.
Particularly bizarre case, the unit secretly funded a boy band in 2016 to tour Muslim areas of Britain to sing songs with anti-rap.
Wait. Peep the fucking date there. In 2016. So they're just... I knew the Muslim problem in the UK had been happening for a while. I didn't realize it had been that long. 2016. So in a decade, you had enough criminal Muslim usurpers to fund a boy band to travel to these communities for propaganda purposes.
Radicalization themes. The British-American pop trio known as Mr. Meonor visited schools in Sheffield, Manchester and Runcorn. They included Parswood High School in Manchester, where a former student was revealed to have travelled to Syria. Among the songs sung by the group were Think About It, which includes references to the 9/11 terror attacks in New York in 2001 and the 7/7 bombings in London in 2005. It includes the lyrics, see these hashtags all night, turn the TV on, and something else ain't right. More people gone, don't know how we sleep at night. What I'm hoping is we can lead a precious life. 9/11 changes how we view these things. People want to terrorize, and 7/7 left behind more broken lives right before our eyes. In June 2017, Darren Osborne, a recent convert to far-right ideology, drove a white van.
Talking about like it's a religion. A recent convert to far-right ideology. Like, homie, that's not how this works. You don't just wake up one day and decide, you know what, I'm going to be far-right now. No. When you wake up day in and day out and you see your own populace being replaced, you see them being murdered, you see the children being raped, you see your government capping for these people, you see your government making the world harder for you and lifting them up, even though their way of life is incompatible with yours. You see the way you are walked on like you're a fucking doormat by these elite politicians, and they call you a convert to far-right ideology. I was saying at the beginning of the stream, straight to the mail, I don't know if you're here yet, I didn't even know how to title. I struggled with titling today's stream because it would have sounded like a Tinfoil Haters episode. That's why I just went with something generic, like Britain is falling apart. And honestly, it's probably going to hurt my numbers. It is. It's probably going to hurt my numbers today. We've got far less people in the show than we normally do today. And I think part of it's the way that I titled this video. But there was no way to talk about this situation without it sounding like some sort of crazy cockamamie conspiracy theory when we all know it's not. And we've all known that it isn't.
And into a crowd of pedestrians close to Finsbury Park Mosque in North London, killing one person and injuring 10. Reports at the time said that Osborne had been held down and beaten by people at the scene until an imam appealed to them to stop. I wonder where that story came from. It later emerged that the reports about the peacemaking imam had originated after journalists were approached at the police cordon by a woman called Gabby, who said she worked for a company called Horizon PR and offered to introduce them to a third party who stressed to the journalists the role that the mosque's imam had played in protecting Osborne until he could be handed over to the police. The story was the work of an agency called Breakthrough Media, which had been...
This is the Sweet Baby Inc. of promoting Muslim terrorists. We're right now, we're learning about the Sweet Baby Inc. of pro-Muslim terrorism in the UK. Yep, London Bridge is falling down. It's like that fucking scene from Army of Darkness, bro.
Paid by Riku. So how much stuff have we all believed over the last few decades that's just complete fucking propaganda? Nothing's real. Everything is fake and gay. Everything is fake and gay. And the fact that this is out now. This basically the fact that the Nudge Unit has been exposed now, and it's now actually hit the mainstream media instead of just being discussed in back rooms by me. Right, the fact that this is out.
Yeah, by back rooms, he means YouTube podcasts that are inexplicably censored in the UK. Those kind of back rooms.
There now is wonderful. This is
if this isn't proof, by the way, that Nick Fuentes is a fucking Fed, I don't know what is. Like, if they're willing to do this, and they're willing to cancel and censor and take down everybody, yet Nick Fuentes gets this meteoric rise and he gets to go on shows like Piers fucking Morgan. Nick Fuentes is a Fed psyop.
Is great. The unit's fingerprints were also
homie?
all over the hashtag We Stand Together, which appeared on Twitter afterwards and was shared by prominent politicians, police commanders, and the London Fire Brigade. See the big group standing together singing Don't Look Back in Anger after the Manchester Arena bombing? I bet it was them. I bet that was them. 100% was them. It was that gay and normie coded that it was definitely them. Riku frequently uses social media in this way to infiltrate online conversations in target communities. I wonder which ones that might be. However, according to Sir William Shawcross, who published a review of Prevent in 2023, the unit seems to be more keen.
Don't Prevent. If that sounds familiar to you guys, unless I'm misremembering, Prevent are the dumb, evil motherfuckers that put out that anti-extremist game in the UK that gave us Amelia. Prevent is the same organization that accidentally gave us Amelia.
To target the far right than extreme Islamists, which is absolutely true. Same goes for Prevent. Same goes for Hope Not Hate, because Hope Not Hate are like, we target extremism. No, you don't. You cause leftist extremism all the time. You are leftist extremists. You don't do anything about Islamic shit. See, when you do your state of hate report, there isn't any mention of any Muslims or anything in it at all. You're an anti-far right group. No, not anti-far right.
I've never heard of State of Hate. I fucking love that name. It's like every few months, you know, we get this new news drop. It's like State of Play for video games, but for this time, it's for like anti-far right extremism.
Anti anything right wing group, even the most milquetoast little gran that just likes the Tories. That's what Hope Not Hate is, and I guarantee you the Rico are involved.
Hate sounds like
I guarantee
yes,
you they're involved. So basically, we have a name. For a while, we thought it was the Behavioral Insights team, who literally use psychology to influence public thought. It literally says that, but to be honest, the Behavioral Insights team are probably part of Rico. They're probably under the same umbrella. So basically, I got the nudge unit right. I just got the unit itself wrong. It might not be the behavior. I mean, it still is the Behavioral Insights team. But anyway, where was I? Sir William wrote, the bar for what Riku includes on Islamism looks to be relatively high, whereas the bar for what is included on the extreme right wing is comparably low. He posted a Pepe meme in the Discord, and that's why we got a warrant to seize all of his electronic devices, and we found more Pepes. Blah, blah, blah. And then we brought him into these meetings that he had to go into all the time, and it's quite funny because whenever these kids go into the meetings and start arguing why they believe what they believe,
they always come out even more extreme, which is based, which is correct, as you should. When you get sent into these little fucking, politically motivated HR meetings to talk about why you're a racist and you need to change and you're the problem, and it only makes you double, triple, and quadruple down on your hatred for the Muslims and the commies and the Jews, good. Keep doing these Prevent meetings. You are breeding an army of people like me, and you love to see it.
They win. When Sam Melia had to speak to the anti-terror police, he won his arguments against them. And the best they could come up with in response was, okay, all of that might be true, but why do you even care? Well, sorry, why do I care that my people are being exterminated and children are being raped? Oh, I don't know. It's because I've got these things called morals, which is why I don't qualify to work for the fucking police. But anyway, by way of illustrating his point, in 2023, the unit identified viewing habits which it believed indicated that someone could be susceptible to far-right views. These included...
When your children are being raped by these Muslim invaders, when your brothers and sisters and fathers and daughters and mothers and cousins and aunties and uncles are being beheaded by these termites, that might make you a little fucking susceptible to far-right ideology, I'm just saying.
Michael Portillo's Great British Railway Journeys, The Thick of It, and Yes Minister, all on the BBC. Works by Shakespeare, Chaucer and Milton were described as key texts of interest to white nationalists / supremacists. See, it's the most milquetoast fucking shit. I was like, oh, he had a Pepe on his computer. It turns out it's even fucking less than that. Oh, by the way, I'm reading Jean Raspail's The Camp of the Saints right now. Bit surrealist. A lot of the dialogue is a little bit wishy-washy. Basically, I'm approaching it like I'm reading a Robert Eggers movie. That's the best way to approach it. And if you approach it like that, it's pretty fucking good. Fucking prophetic in many ways. I'm not even just talking about the migrants. I'm talking about the way the media and the leftists and everybody all act and the techniques and shit like that they do. Fucking, it was written in the 70s, and holy fuck, by the way, really, really prophetic. You should buy it. You can get it at Bobbin Books. You can even get it off of Amazon now. But anyway, Mr. Patil.
Unless you're under 16, which I assume Amazon is banned in the UK.
A former Tory minister, reacted to the leaked report by saying, "Why are senior officials, at least, not trying to stop this stuff before it pops up and embarrasses ministers in the government?"
They can't actually be asking why are senior officials not trying to stop it. You cannot be so fucking brain dead as to be like, "Oh, why aren't the politicians doing anything about this?" When they get on TV and they get on the internet and they get up at their podium and they endorse this shit every day, when they look you straight in the face and say, "Do not believe your eyes, believe me." Ignore the fact that we just allowed in God knows how many thousands upon thousands of these criminal infesting termites. And we're paying for them and we're putting them up in hotel rooms and we're giving them your land and your housing and we're giving them money. Really? Really? Why would you ask? Why aren't the politicians doing it? They are doing something about it. They're endorsing it. They want this.
Security expert Professor Anthony Glees responded, "The unit that produced this report is called RICU. It's based in the Home Office, but it's in that kind of shadowy area between what the Home Office does and what the security service MI5 ought to be doing, or what the special branch used to do before it was turned into the counter-terrorist police force." The unit has also cited work by the Spectator journalists Rod Liddell and Douglas Murray as contributing to negative views about Islam and Muslims via the pages of mainstream publications.
No one contributes to a negative view. Like, okay, there is no amount of media that will make, portray negative views of Muslims more than their own goddamn book. When their book says, "Yeah, it's okay to have sex with 9-year-old girls and take them as a child wife. Our prophet did it. You good." That's more damning than anything that the media could fucking say.
They also cited a book on the Rotherham rape gangs and work by the Mail on Sunday journalist Peter Hitchens, and a RICU document from 2019 described former cabinet minister Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg as being among figures associated with far-right sympathetic audiences and Brexit. So basically, literally anything, fucking 20 degrees removed from some basic bitch right-wing shit, you're all on Riku's sites. Everything, absolutely everything. Basically, they're probably doing the usual thing of they drum it up and make it sound a lot worse than it is so that they can keep their budget and their 6-figure salaries. The same as like diversity managers at universities do.
Vagabond, we're a 5-banger. Problem is, many civilians don't have the concept of property rights, starting with self, and still rely on their government safety. Hope they start waking up. Not only do I think that is especially true in the UK, I think it's probably true for at least half of the US as well. Like, you are 1,000% correct. People do not understand the fundamental concept of property rights, which is where libertarian ideology, effectively, that's all it is. That's ground up. Now, mind you, I'm not a filthy goddamn libertarian. The libertarians can't get shit done because their own biggest enemy is themselves. We did a big ass stream on this like 2-3 weeks ago, where you had to like an hour and a half about the flaws of libertarianism. But at the end of the day, you are correct, Vagabond. Shout out, dude. Appreciate you. You know what? This is for you.
And a friendly reminder, fuck you, Leon.
Appreciate you, homie.
And shit like that, where they basically make the problem sound so much worse than it actually is because they keep wanting to make money. Sir Jacob accused Riku of wasting effort on elected politicians, scandalously diverting resources from evildoers. When Defence Secretary Dan Jarvis was asked about the unit last year, he was security minister at the time, and its claims that the scandal of grooming gangs was being exploited by the far right, he said, many documents are produced across government that are not implemented and do not constitute government policy. However, these guys are on the ground fucking basically forcing victims' families to read out their statements. They are influencing public opinion on a fucking massive, a national scale, right? They're fucking threatening journalists. They're steering journalists. They're doing little sneaky CIA fucking shit to basically control the narrative of the entire country. They are a covert propaganda unit. And we've finally had fucking mainstream confirmation that they fucking exist. A Home Office spokesman said, Riku provides analysis on extremist use of propaganda. They are a propaganda unit. And exploitation of the internet.
And mind you, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. We've had propaganda units in the U.S. since I believe 1918. I mean, to be fair, probably even earlier than that. But confirmed verifiably that I know of, we have had propaganda units as part of the structure of the United States government since at least 1918. I don't know how far back it goes in the UK. It probably goes back further for both countries. But yeah, this is nothing new. We've seen over 100 years. Probably as long as the CIA has been. No, even older than that. CIA didn't come about until late 50s, I believe. Late 50s, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 1918. Edward Bernays. We'll take a quick sidetrack, and I'll just give you a quick synopsis of this guy. Edward Bernays, born in 1891, died in 1995, was an Austrian-American pioneer in the field of public relations and propaganda, referred to in his obituary as the father of public relations. While credited with advancing the profession of public relations, his techniques have often criticized for manipulating public opinion, often in ways that undermine individual autonomy and democratic values. So some of the things that he did, let's see, family and education, career, after graduating, after his foray into the world of theater, Bernays worked as a creative press agent for various performances. Already, he was using a variety of techniques that would become hallmarks for his later practice. He promoted Daddy Long. So he started off using propaganda to like boost ticket sales for the theater and whatnot. And the government thought he was so good at that. After the U.S. entered the war, time of World War I, Committee of Public Information hired Bernays to work for its Bureau of Latin American Affairs based in his office in New York. Bernays, along with Lieutenant F.E. Ackerman, focused on building support for a war domestically and abroad, focused especially on businessmen operating in Latin America. Bernays referred to this work as psychological warfare, PSYOP. After fighting ending, Bernays was part of the 16-person publicity group working for the CPI as the Paris Peace Conference. A scandal arose from his reference to propaganda and press release, as presented by. And it goes on and on. Edward Bernays is political clients. In 1924, Bernays set up a vaudeville pancake fest for Calvin Coolidge. Yep. So it goes. It honestly predates the CIA. It predates the CIA. And yeah, Lincoln was using propaganda units during the Civil War. That is also true. That is a factually accurate statement. I don't know if it was enshrined institutionally in the government as a whole during that time if it stayed. But yes, you are correct about that. Shout out Sebrew. Sebrew becoming a member all on his own. You'll love to see it. You absolute goddamn legend. This is for you.
You can't keep getting away with it.
So yeah. Anyone that thinks, again, the CIA may have perfected it, but it started at least with Edward Bernays.
To inform the UK's counter-terrorism system, we cannot comment on its operations. I have been vindicated. I have been absolutely vindicated. So it might not have been the Behavioural Insights team, though I guarantee you they definitely work with Riku, but now we actually have a name to pin on the unit. So anytime something comes out where it's like, oh, the person who saved the guy was actually a migrant themselves, Riku. This person, our son would never have wanted this to be used to sow division, Riku. Oh, don't look back in anger, Riku. We now know who's behind all of it. We now know not to trust a single fucking thing that comes out of the media. We now know,
And again, we all knew this already. If you're watching my channel, if you're watching Dankula's channel, if you're watching the Y-Files, if you're watching any channel that talks about this sort of stuff, we all knew this already. Now, the question is with this being reported by actual mainstream outlets, will this wake up normies? Maybe a few. I don't think it'll wake up enough, to be honest. I don't. I think at this point, people are so set in their goddamn ways. People are sheep. They want this level of government control. They want the U.S. the UK to just govern me harder, daddy. Give them the digital ID on their phones, social media bans for under 16, which miraculously somehow Blue Sky is exempt from. This won't actually change the thing for a lot of people. Only the folk that already knew this, like you guys watching me, the people that watch Dank, the people that watch AJ, yeah, we knew it. But the mainstream media talking about it, just another part of the PSYOP. If the mainstream media is talking about it, it's just another part of the psyop. They want you to hear this part, believe this part, read this part for whatever reason, while they're doing something else in the background. Because yes, Tiger King is correct. People are fucking stupid.
I'm just so fucking happy that it's now been made public. Everything's fake. Everything's gay. It's all fucking propaganda.
Based. Absolutely based. Go ahead and drop the video in the comments for you guys. Make sure to give it a like. Give Dank a sub because I steal his content quite frequently. But, I mean, there it is. There you have it. They're just now openly acknowledging in the mainstream media, yes, we have covert propaganda arms as part of MI6 that are trying to influence the UK populace, the British populace, to be a bunch of commie-loving, Muslim-sucking bastards. They sent people to be fake mourners at funerals. They're just openly saying it. They sent agents to be fake mourners at funerals. Alex Jones talked about this shit 15 years ago and was effectively canceled for it. Why? Because he was correct. Because Alex Jones was being honest with you guys. Why is Alex Jones, why did he lose InfoWars? Why is he being fined more than the GDP of like Uganda? Because he was right. Because he's always been right. And they don't want that. They don't want someone waking you up. Except for now, they've got to tell you in the mainstream media. And if they're telling you in the mainstream media, that means they're covering something else up. So, and frankly, if they're acknowledging the mainstream media, yes, we have a division of MI6 that is focused purely on pro-commie and pro-Muslim propaganda. If they're willing to go that far and say, yes, this is real, what are they not telling you now? Scary shit, dog. Scary shit. Alrighty. So that was a lot. That was a lot to take in the first hour of the show. I understand that you guys are probably quite like, man, that was a lot. So we're gonna lighten it up. We're gonna lighten it up because I don't know how much time I have today. Because like I said, I got that Weird Al concert tonight, so I'm not trying to stick around and stream for too fucking long. Maybe another hour and a half. But Cassie sent me something. Cassie, cult classic Cage. Fake anti-wokes love supporting woke slop. What? What does that even mean? So let's find out.
Is that right?
All right, hold on. Because who wouldn't want to play a modern James Bond game where 007 embodies the values of modern-day Britain? Buy our game where you protect the globalist ideals as an agent of the government and imprisons you for mean tweets. This Bond would ironically kill you if you expose Somali daycare fraud. I'll be reviewing 007 First Light. Just got sent the code from the publisher. I'll dig through the game myself to see what it's all about. So far, that's fine.
Is that right?
I'm sure for a lot of people.
All right, hold on. Those are not incongruent ideas. Like, and you know, I don't even like Endymion. So this isn't me capping for Endymion because I'm not a fan whatsoever. That being said, he's not saying he purchased the game. You know, it was sent to him. He got a code for it. So that doesn't mean that he was supporting the game. If he's doing it for review purposes, like, they're not incongruent ideas. Now, if you'd shown a tweet of him saying that he loved the game and he was fawning over it and beating his fucking meat to it and whatnot, all right, you would definitely have some hypocrisy there. But so far, these are not incongruent ideas. Now, you know me, I'm not a fan of getting review codes and playing games for free and whatnot. I think I don't like that. I find that to be scummy. But if given the choice between the two, if you've got some sort of ideological issue with what's happening in the game, but you also need to review it, expose it, show it off, like, this is the thing. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If you don't play it because it's quote unquote woke slop or whatever, well, then people will be like, how would you know? You didn't even play it. If you do play it to review it for whatever reason, people will then be like, oh, you're so anti-woke, but you're out here playing the game, hypocrite. So this is, you can already, with the framing of the first 11 seconds of this video, you can already tell there's going to be some disingenuous bullshit.
I'm sure for a lot of people, when they hear that someone is anti-woke, they probably assume that they're just like all the other people that say that or claim to be. Probably think they have the same morals and principles, but that is the farthest thing from the truth.
All right. What are those morals or principles? You threw a term out there without defining the term. This video is already trash. Holy shit. Also, his audio sucks. I don't know who this guy is. Cass just sent it to me, and she said it was fucking hilarious.
As unfortunate as that may be, that is the truth. There has been many examples over the last several years where people have showed their true colors, whether they're a larger channel or smaller channel. And this is not me telling you who to watch, who you can't watch, who you could support, who you can't support. You're free to do that as much as you want. But the whole notion of that, we're all on the same side, we're on the same team, that is not the case.
We don't play this whole team. Oh, we're all on the same side. We're on the same team. No one's out here saying that. Well, actual gamers and actual people who, in fact, even like politically and ideologically motivated individuals like myself aren't out here saying it. Like I'm out here advocating for the removal of Muslims and commies from our world while also being like, the Furiosa as a movie wasn't fucking woke. It just wasn't good. The problem is that most people think XYZ person is anti-woke, then claim these people said they were anti-woke, when the truth is they themselves put that label on people, and then melt down when it doesn't 100% match the idea of what anti-woke should be. 1,000% correct. Absolutely. Is guilt by association. Guilt by association, XYZ person disagree with one game, which means they agree with everything else. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, this is he's already baked in several logical fallacies out here. He's used false equivalency. He has used false equivalency. He has refused to define terms, which in a way you could say that he has tried to appeal to authority by talking about how, people are on the same team. Yeah, this is going to be trash.
Now, there's been a few games that, for whatever reason, have caused some people to completely go retarded. I don't know what other way to explain it. That's simply what it is. They have gone full retard when it comes to certain games, clearly games that they like, so they have to protect it no matter what. They have to play dumb, and they have to do all these mental gymnastics, damage controlling, all of that, just to defend the game that they like, their precious game that they can't fault. They can't call it woke because then they will look like hypocrites.
Give me an example. Like, if you're going to say this, give an example. And you'd be like, oh, well, he's showing First Light, James Bond, First Light on screen. Okay, so you can maybe make the assumption that he's claiming First Light is woke. Give me examples of people defending it and saying that it isn't and giving reasons as to why. Like, when you make claims like this without anything to back it up, again, that is just textbook manipulation, and it's a sign of a very poor argument.
Or they simply just want to defend it so they don't have to feel guilty about it. Now, with Ademian, this guy cannot be consistent. He constantly backpedals.
I agree with that, by the way. I agree with that assessment of Ademian.
He clearly goes where the wind blows. I mean, it makes sense considering he sounds like he doesn't give a shit about what he's saying. He doesn't believe a single fucking word that comes out of his mouth, which is probably why he sounds so robotic. He might as well be doing voice acting with Young Yeah. I mean, this guy.
I know I don't have like the most professional setup in the world. $70 microphone. That being said, homie, when your audio quality sounds like you talking out of a tin can, I don't think you got the right to talk about someone sounding robotic. I'm just saying, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Like once he gets some pushback, he just backpedals and just.
A lot of people will claim XYZ is woke when the thing they complain about has been around in gaming for ages. Oh, they had a black NPCs. Okay. Women are in leadership. Okay. Laura Fryer was, and I imagine you had something else. But yes, at the end of the day, you're absolutely correct. It's not is thing in game. It's how is thing implemented in game. I have an issue with a woman in power in a game. I have an issue of a woman in power in a game if she's doing nothing but lambasting masculinity and emasculating the male characters and is being propped up as some amazing character purely on the merits of her being a woman. Those are totally different things. What up, IB?
acts like it never happened. He tries to change his words and just act like, well, actually, I meant to say this. Well, people misinterpret this. And even with his review of 007 First Sight, I've heard that he deleted his review, or privated possibly, because he was getting pushback on that. And my thing is like, if you believe in what you're saying, why not just stand on it then? It says a lot about Endymion. If you believe in what...
Yeah, 007 First Sight is a good game. I'm near the end of the story, I think, anyway, and it's been mostly a blast. The beginning is the worst part, the training and all that. Once you get to the hotel mission, Slovakia, everything onwards, Bond game. I've won for so long. All right, so he changed his opinion, and again, he doesn't even Endymion. This guy's making me defend Endymion. At no point did Endymion even call the game woke, say it was woke, anything like that. So it's not even like he's changing his stance, really. He was saying that the game did not look appealing from the trailer. Then he played it, and now it's appealing to him. I realized the truth of the conversation, which is to pick one side and roll with it regardless of whether they're right or wrong. I can't do that. Facts, I can't either. I absolutely can't either. Woke has been co-opted term for decades, like capitalism and empathy. Stop using those terms without caveats or asterisks. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Because he was getting pushback on that. And my thing is like, if you believe in what you're saying, why not just stand on it then? It says a lot about Endymion's character.
Because if you believe in what you're saying, then that means you're probably likely, hopefully, a rational individual that is also open to having your mind changed when confronted with new evidence or new information. You don't stand on what you're saying if it's wrong. That just makes you a fucking moron.
When originally he was against the game, he seemed to notice patterns, but once he got that review code, then all of that went out the window. Suddenly now, it's a great game. It's very odd. It sounds like the guy...
Now, I do think that's fair criticism. I do, and that's why I don't do review codes. That's why I refuse to do review codes, because that is a fair criticism. The moment you're given the game for free, or any project, the moment you're given any sort of access, that always comes with strings attached. And it now makes it a viable avenue for someone to attack you and be like, hey, you were talking mad shit. Now you got access and you're not talking shit anymore. It does, in fact, make your stance look less credible. That is absolutely why I don't do any sort of review codes or anything. Because if Endymion went out, bought this game of his own volition, came away with the exact same takeaway, he ended up liking the game, that'd be a whole lot more believable than because he got it for free. There's always strings attached. It looks iffy, but claiming he changed his opinion because the code is a reach. Yeah, I don't know that he did or didn't, but it definitely makes the ground that Endymion would stand on to be a whole lot more shaky.
Guy is easily bought out, if not already bought out. It's utterly ridiculous how this guy's been damage controlling for this game, like literally writing walls of text, just trying to defend this game, excuse all the obvious...
Again, walls of text. It's called a review, homie. I'm sure Endymion gets paid for X. I'm sure he gets paid for X. Stuff like this that gets engagement and whatnot. Isn't Wall? He's not just like out here just furiously typing stuff up to to cover his trailers, tracks, or justify anything. Yeah, exactly, Charlie King. It is bad for optics. Correct. I bet he gets paid for X. That's simple.
Issues with it, like race swap characters, race swap M, and fucking James Bond being cucked, being fucking saved several times, such as the ending of the game where he's being saved by women. And a lot of these women, they're not bombshells. Most of them look average. People are praising average looking female characters now from Western studios that on their website have sections about DEI in the studio.
Every website does. Every Western game studio has these at this point. Now, I don't like it. I'm not saying it's okay. To be fair, a lot of Eastern ones do too. Capcom does. Square Enix does. And yeah, Hypno, I was waiting for you to jump in at that. I knew the moment he said that you were going to have something, because you beat the game and you rather enjoyed it. Now, I didn't play it. I don't care about the game. It just doesn't look like my kind of fucking game. It really doesn't. But to be Every single website has this. So by this logic, if you're a game reviewer and you also are anti-DEI, so are you supposed to just like not play and review any games now? Because every Western company has a section like this on their website. That is so devoid of logic. You can disagree with the ideology of DEI and still, as part of your job as a reviewer, play and review the games. And James Bond gets cut. Dude did not play the game.
That should let you know. They even have articles where they even explain what their intentions were with the game. Even the reviews for the game even explain what it is.
And you know what? I talk mad trash on Square Enix. I got several videos on my channel blasting Square Enix. But I also give credit where credit's due. Square Enix didn't pull an Insomniac. Square Enix didn't do none of that gay for pay shit like what Insomniac did with Spider-Man. All the pride flags everywhere, but in the Saudi Arabian release, miraculously somehow all the pride flags were gone. No, when the Middle East told Square Enix, change your game to take out the gay shit or it can't be sold here, Square Enix was like, I guess it ain't being sold here. At least they stood on their ground. I don't like giving props to Square Enix, but at least they stood on their fucking ground.
And this guy insists that this game is not woke at all? Yes, this makes sense. Let's ignore the feminist writing, the soy cuck portrayal of James Bond in this new modern interpretation of this young James Bond, right? Let's ignore how the characters talk to him, how they treat him, what their roles are in the game, and how they literally save him on several occasions. Let's ignore all of that. Let's ignore the subliminal messages within the game.
Quick question. For my old school 90s gamers. I want to take you way back. Let's get a time machine and we'll go to 1998. And you're going to play Resident Evil 2 for the first time. Not that homo-ass remake, but the real thing. Is Resident Evil 2 now just retroactively woke because Ada saves Leon? Several times, by the way. Including the entire reason that Leon and Claire are able to survive the entire infestations, because at the end of the game, Ada gives them the rocket launcher. Having your main character be saved by a chick is not inherently fucking woke. That is so disingenuous. James Bond cucks Moneypenny and fucks a girl while she's on the phone with him. That's fucking funny.
And this guy is trustworthy. This guy is what people literally had told me before. He is a reliable source. That's what I was told. I was told this when I called him out on him buying and supporting Soros. Remember that game? The other cucked game. A lot of cucked characters, a lot of cucked male characters that people continue to support. And with Soros, I was told that he was a reliable source, that he has to play the game. If not him, then who else? How are they?
I think that's a totally fair mindset. I think that's yes. This dude is absolutely insufferable. I agree, hun. Dude is absolutely insufferable. But yes, if your job is to review thing, why would you? Duh. Obviously, like that's why I don't do reviews on my channel anymore. That's why I don't do reviews, because like anytime that a movie would come out, and I'd have to go see it to review it, whether it be on my show or on Badger's show or on Niat's show or Gooch's show or whatever. Hey, Supergirl's coming out. Guess what? I'm not going to go fucking see Supergirl. I'm going to be on Badger's stream and I'm going to be on Hold My DualShock stream and they're going to be talking about it because they go see this shit and they review it. My time's too valuable for that. But someone does have to do it, yes. So absolutely. Especially if your entire channel is built around reviewing these sorts of things, then yes. Just because you know it's going to be bad or you don't like the thing does not mean it shouldn't be reviewed, or does not mean that you should. Now, I'm not going to do it. My time's too valuable. I'm not going to spend my time on shit that I don't like. But there's nothing wrong with Endymion's mentality. I can't stand this dude who's making me defend Endymion. I really don't. But there is nothing wrong with the mentality of it is my job, therefore I'm going to do it. But a framed in gold member for 6 months. My bank account isn't looking like a poor at the moment. So let's pass it on. And then the homie came in and dropped in 5 gifted memberships. You absolute fucking legend. Thank you so much. You are, dude, appreciated. Let's get you a clip. You know what? What's one I haven't played in a minute? Let's give you this one right here. Thank you so much, buddy.
I'm loving it again. The game would absolutely get a pretty high score from me.
How many bananas?
A solid 8.5 incher for sure.
I didn't, what? No.
And wouldn't it be nice to live together?
Shout out. I appreciate you. Let me update the number real quick. There we go. Bam. Alrighty. James Bond. Oh, no. Hold on. I got that one already. There's something else that said I want to get. It's so easy to just say what everyone else is saying. Yeah, it absolutely is. There's something else you said though. Here we go. People do things they hate their job all the time. How is it any different? Do you think everyone enjoys their job 100%? Why do you think I avoid reviewing the joke games like Mixtape? Yeah, for the same reason that I don't review things like fucking Supergirl. Exactly. Because yes, you could play the 2.5 hour Mixtape game, then you could review it. But is the amount of money you would get from that worth the time? Because time is always more valuable than money. Like you can lose money, you can get money, you can make money back. You can't do that with time. I operate under the exact same mentality as Hypno right there. It's like I can do thing, but is it worth my time? I will always ask the question of whether something is worth my time more so than is it worth my money.
I gotta know. And my thing is this. If you don't know if a game is woke, after all these years, if you follow all the things that are going on within gaming, then you are truly lost. You really don't need to be buying these games, be playing these games from start to finish. You don't have to do that. And you especially don't have to get the platinum trophy for these games. Especially if you consider these games woke way before then, because a lot of times when you get a platinum trophy, you have to do more than one playthrough in a game and do a lot of tedious, monotonous shit just for the platinum.
Hypno, didn't you say you could platinum James Bond in literally one run through? Like, dude is just straight up talking about essentially. Now, I'm fact checking with Hypno because Hypno actually played the game. I didn't, but weren't you able to get the plat on James Bond in a single playthrough? Suffering for you, Leon, for the lulls. Do it for the lulls. Yeah, I'm suffering through this. This shit is insufferable.
So if these games that Ademion does not like, apparently he doesn't like these games. They're woke. They're not good.
Yes,
like
it's
Sorrows,
easy. So you
it has some potential, but it was wasted on the writing and the characters. If that was the case, why are you getting the platinum trophy? Because you're getting the platinum trophy. It sounds like you actually like the game. It sounds like you secretly like the game, but you just don't want to say it because you're trying to save face.
But it's not secret. He literally said in his post that he really enjoyed the game. The dude is like shadow boxing and making up false narratives. Who is this dude? Revenant Remnant. Not familiar with his content. This is the first I'm seeing of it. But like I said, it's funny. So like seeing somebody be so blatantly wrong is incredibly funny. He's not great to listen to, but I am, and that's why you guys are here.
Face. You're trying to maintain your audience by outright lying to them that you have this disdain for the game, or for several other games for that matter, but you constantly get the platinum trophy for these games. So which one is it? You either like it or you don't. Because if you're
supposed to be the lighthearted part. Well, don't worry. After this, we're going to go over Hypno's video from yesterday talking about the South of Midnight studio closure. So
don't like it, ain't no goddamn way you will get no damn platinum trophy. Hell, in some cases, you probably wouldn't even finish the game if it's that bad. Now let me move on to Vera Dark, because she is someone who also doesn't practice what she preaches. She will make multiple videos about a game before it comes out and still buy the game anyway on release day, along with the modern audience.
Okay. So at this point, this is just clout chasing the video. I thought he would have an actual point, but at this point, this is just clout chasing the video. Like, start off hitting on Endymion, Move on to Very Dark. Again, someone else I don't particularly care for. I've said that before. Like, I don't think she's a crypto or like that. I just don't watch a whole lot of female content creators. So most female content creators suck.
And all the other shills that clearly don't know what the hell is still going on, or just want to believe that gaming is the best it's ever been and that there's no problem.
No, I don't really like Vera.
But
I don't dislike her. I
she's
just don't watch
there
the content.
buying the game, streaming the game from beginning to end, and just adding more to the problem that we've been dealing with gaming and entertainment as a whole. So she's not really creating a solution. She is just contributing to the problem. She's just making matters worse. And I don't care if she reviews the game.
You're not making matters worse, though. Here's what people tend to not understand. And to be fair, I used to have this same mentality. I do not have this mentality anymore. One person buying the game is not contributing to the problem. Because let's use James Bond as an example. James Bond sold, I think, like 3 million copies in his first month. If Hypno didn't buy the game, or Vera didn't buy the game or whatever, nothing's changed. So it would have sold 2,999,000 copies, 9,999 copies. Oh no. That's still a whole lot of fucking copies sold in this first month. They're not losing anything if that one copy wasn't purchased, especially if you do have an audience of gamers that are undecided. If their money could go either way, they watch you play and or review the game, and that sways their decision. If the product is good, people will buy it. It's that simple. If thing is good, it will be bought. And oftentimes, if thing is bad, it will also be bought, and then people will turn on it later, like The Last of Us 2.
Whether by the end of the stream or not, I really don't care. You're still
there's also
supporting
a gifted aspect. Exactly.
You know damn well what the game is going to have. You make that very clear when you make multiple.
People don't realize the amount of eyes on odds. If 100 of us buy the game, that's tens of thousands of people watching, making up their minds when the playthrough. And that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. If none of that exists, people will buy it at face value, which is what used to happen. Correct.
Videos about it, so you know what it's going to be. You don't need the credits to roll in order for you to form an opinion or to be certain on what you're saying. If you're aware, and
I absolutely think you do. I absolutely think you need to wait for credits to roll. And that's why I so rarely ever drop anime. I don't really do this with video games, but I so rarely ever drop anime. Because I've watched some anime that was just like, it's all right for the first, 3 or 4 episodes. By the time you get to episode 12 and it ends, that shit could be fucking amazing. There could be a game-changing twist in episode 8 that elevates the entire fucking story. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in, if you're going to review something, yeah, credits, at least from a story perspective or whatnot. Now, if you got mechanical issues like, oh, this game controls like ass, all right, that's one thing. But in terms of like talking about the story, the narrative, you absolutely need to get credits to roll. That's why the reviews for Black Myth Wukong were absolute bullshit. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that studio literally only gave them access up to the first like 2 or 3 chapters or whatever. But the point remains the same.
you notice patterns, you make several videos about this shit constantly, then you should know. The fact of the matter is that people like her are slaves to YouTube. They need this. So they're going to buy and play the woke game so they can benefit off of it. That's why they stream it from beginning to end. That's why they're always going to be there buying those games. They're going to use the same excuse on top of that.
Once again, 2 things can be true. I can already tell you guys, we're not going to finish this video. I can already tell you we're not going to end up finishing this video. Oh, he's got a segment about Smash JT. We're going to keep going for a little bit, but like Nure is in this. Who else? Who else is he clout chase off of? I see more Smash. Anyway, you can absolutely benefit from the YouTube aspect of it, still be against quote unquote wokeness in gaming, and like call it out, address it, make fun of it. They're not mutually exclusive. This is such a brain dead take. Skip to Smash JT. Yeah, we'll skip to the Smash section, and then we're gonna move on because this video is giving me brain cancer.
In Smash JT, who maybe not so much so since they claimed they were robbed at the Game Awards. Oh, boo-hoo. Then you had the shady car salesman, and it looks like he smells like a bag of onions, Smash JT, saying that after watching one of Hypnotic streams on the game, he determined that it's not woke. And, well, hopefully he stuck to that because from what I remember, he was going back and forth, wasn't sure what it was, whether if it was woke or not, and was also getting some pushback.
I want you guys to know something. After watching one of Hypnotic's streams, came to the conclusion the game's not woke. So it's almost like Hypno did his goddamn job, which is play the game, reliably inform individuals on the game, and then from there, let them make up their own fucking minds. Interesting. Interesting how that works.
Back and was doing his best Demion impression, had to backpedal a couple of times for it. But not only him, but you also had Archcast was defending the game. You also had Atreus, who said himself that he...
Bro, homie's out here giving us the greatest hits of SNH hate. Hold on. What did Trey say? I originally said Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was not a day one buy for me. Not because of the controversy, because it was just not a game that was ever on my radar. I've changed my mind due to the ridiculous controversy surrounding that as being framed by idiots. I'm going to buy the game on day one, and I'm going to stream it. Fuck it. Which I don't think Atreus ever did, by the way.
He was buying the game based on the controversy because to him, he thought people were acting like extremists, were overreacting, exaggerating, and didn't find the game to be woke at all. You even had Dr. Disaster.
Hold on. Atreus didn't say that. Listen to this dude straight up lie. Nowhere in this does Atreus say he does not find it woke at all. He says the ridiculous controversy surrounding it being farmed by idiots. He does not say. Now, again, I don't think he thinks. I don't think that Atreus did think it was woke or anything like that. My point is, he is straight up lying.
The controversy because to him, he thought people were acting like extremists, were overreacting, exaggerating, and didn't find the game to be woke at all. You even had Dr. Disaster, who couldn't make up his mind whether if it was woke or not, and Cabrutus, the guy who was known for the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected page, who I think changed it to DEI Detected, who he himself had by the way, determined that the game wasn't woke, so he didn't put it on the list. These people that others consider to be reliable sources, honest people they can rely on, are not so reliable. And before I forget, worth a buy.
All these people that are supposed to be reliable, guess aren't reliable. What he means is they don't agree with me. They don't agree with me on this one thing, so now they're not reliable. Why don't you agree with me? I'm out here making content too. I'll name drop you guys in the video. I'm out here making content too. Agree with that. This whole video is just bitching and whinging that these channels that this dude probably watched prior to him starting a channel and was inspired by not agreeing with him because he is fucking hardline and extreme in his view of quote unquote wokeness and anti-wokeness or whatever.
This motherfucker said on his stream that he deleted that he did not care that Daniel Vavra lied about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. He did not care at all. So
I also don't care. Never did. Do not care that Daniel Vavra lied. It just could not care less to me. Sounds like he's trying to tear down more popular streamers to steal a spot. That's exactly what it is. You see this all the time.
He does not care. So what does that tell you about him and his character? So now it's okay for developers to lie to consumers, to their potential audience, to the people that they rely on to actually keep them afloat, actually keep them to have a roof over their heads, to put food on their table. There were a few people that were acting like they were so sure of themselves on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Their piss poor way of defending it was just laughable and really just showed you that centrists really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And when
oh my god, he used the fucking your shorts argument. Yeah, we're done. I can't watch any more of this. I'll do what the good streamer thing should do, which is link it to you guys. But he just used the your shorts argument. They don't agree with me, therefore they're a centrist. Just assigning political labels to them based off, yeah, He used yours torch. Yeah, we're done. We ain't doing any more of that. Holy shit. Literally said it wasn't okay. Literally made multiple videos shitting on Daniel Vavra for lying to people. Said he has to answer for it to the public. Disagreed with his statements, etc. Yeah, and to be fair, Hypno did do that. That's an area where Hypno and I disagree. I think we disagreed about it on SNH Live, if I recall. I didn't give a fuck. But yeah, this is true. Hypno did. That's funny. And like a Wotara attacking when they don't 100% agree. Yep. That was painful. Fuck, that was painful. But it was fun. And it was funny. All right. We got one more video. And this one we are going to watch to completion. Because it's a boy Hypno's video. He dropped this yesterday. I didn't watch it yesterday because I knew we'd react to it today. South of Midnight Studio shuts down and shills implode. This is... I'm so confused about Xbox right now. I'm so confused about Xbox. On the one hand, they've been doing some good things. They have. I'll call it what it is. I like Asha Sharma making some correct moves. Like E-Day. God of War E-Day looks good. Compulsion Games getting shut down is an absolute W. But then Ninja Theory also possibly getting shut. I'm so fucking confused about the state of Xbox.
Do you guys know what I love about the gaming industry so much is that eventually the truth is going to come out about one particular video game anytime there is a controversial discussion around that said video game. And guess what? That's exactly where we're at right now. I'm obviously talking about Compulsion Games South of Midnight. It's a video game that we haven't talked about in honestly quite some time because it's an unremarkable video game. It's a video game that once you play it, you kind of realize...
I don't think Asha's a liar. I don't know if she's being... Like, here's the thing. I do think actions speak louder than words. I think she's saying all the right things. I just want to actually see them in action. I want to see them implemented. I don't think we have enough information yet. We haven't seen enough changes to Xbox to call her a liar. But we have seen some good changes. Lowering the price of Game Pass. Bringing back things like E-Day. Stating that they need to prioritize Bethesda. The possibilities of Xbox spawning into its own subsidiary of Microsoft instead of being a branch. So, no, I don't have an Xbox. No, I exclusively game on PC. Anyway, I want to see more, but I do not think she's inherently a liar.
That it's exactly what everybody said that it was. When you look at this game that I personally played, by the way, on my second channel, Hypnotic Gaming Live, you'll realize that it's a video game that you can clearly see was going in a particular direction, and then all of a sudden, things just kind of changed. Now, the funny thing about South of Midnight is that the worst of its qualities have nothing to do necessarily with ideology, although it is definitely there. The worst of its qualities have to do with the fact that it is so unremarkable in terms of its gameplay that it is one of the only video games that I personally played where I said, you know what, I'd rather the game not have combat. I got to tell you, one of the worst things about the game.
God damn. Hypno would have preferred the combat was so fucking boring. He would have preferred a walking simulator. Mixtape is better than South of Midnight confirmed.
Game is quite frankly the combat. It is so bad that I actually wanted to turn it completely off. Now the funny thing is you actually have the ability to do so, but I decided to go through the combat anyway because that's how the game was designed. And now we have everything coming out about this game because this was one of those video games that got massively defended by everybody and their mother online who doesn't actually play these kind of video games. What am I talking about? Well, it's been confirmed or at least rumored and reported on that South of Midnight's studio, Compulsion Games, is in fact going to be shutting down. There are multiple reports all throughout.
And we heard the thousands upon thousands of cheers from real gamers everywhere. Because ain't nobody gave a fuck about this game.
on IGN, Kotaku, all throughout the internet, on X. Everybody is talking about how Xbox is unfortunately suffering because they decided they wanted to play the game that nobody wanted to play. They decided to make video games over the last few years. They were highly unappealing to the majority of actual people that play video games. It really doesn't matter ultimately where your ideology stands. You could be on the left, you could be on the right, you could be in the middle. It really doesn't matter. You can completely take all ideology out of the conversation. But when you're looking at video games as an objective point of view, you'll realize that most of them were highly unappealing. And you're going to have people online that are going to talk about this game more than actually play it. It's actually amazing.
Not, excuse me, sorry. I know Hypno said the ideology doesn't matter. I disagree. It does. Because when he talks about the people who are going to talk about this game more online than actually play it, talk positively about it specifically, only one side is doing that. Only one side of the ideological aisle is doing that whole thing where they talk about the games and hype them up and whatnot and then don't play them. Or if they do play them, they play it only if they get a review code for free or only if it's on Xbox Game Pass. That is it. There's only really one side of the ideological aisle that's doing that shit.
If you go online and you type South of Midnight, I guarantee you, you're going to find a massive amount of people talking about this game in a positive light, but then the numbers don't actually correlate to any kind of online sales or any kind of metrics that is tangible whatsoever. If you look at SteamDB, the video game barely did anything. I believe the top score for them over on SteamDB is 1,438 players, all-time peak 14 months ago. I think there's around 89 people playing the game right now within a 24-hour period. Most people.
And I will wager to guess, I don't know, but I will wager to guess after it won all those awards at the Canadian Game Awards, as if anyone gives a fuck about the Canadian Game Awards or Canada in general or Game Awards in general. Fuck. I'm just thinking about it. People don't care about Canada. People don't care about the Game Awards. Why would anyone give a fuck about the Canadian Game Awards? That's neither here nor there. Point is, after it won all the awards, the Canadian Game Awards, I bet it went on sale and it got a few people to buy it for like $12 or whatever, which is why it's got the 80-something people playing it right now. If I had to wager a guess.
People ended up buying this game when it was on sale at $29.99. Quite frankly,
fucking called it.
South of Midnight is one of those video games that people talk about more than they actually play. And I think that goes on all sides, but especially the side that claims that it's the most amazing thing ever. And we're going to dive into that exactly because South of Midnight, in case you guys are not aware, South of Midnight's a video game.
No, I did not pre-watch. Fuck you. I not pre-watch. I just understand the industry and the market.
Swept the awards in Canada. I'm not even kidding. The Canadian Game Awards. This was the Expedition 33 of Canada. It is that huge. It took that many awards in the Canadian Game Awards. Now, keep in mind,
the Expedition 33 of Canada is fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Guys, I understand. It's the Canadian Game Awards. Ideologically speaking, we're all pretty much aware that Canadian Game Awards don't mean a goddamn thing. But at the end of the day, everybody always likes to talk about the awards, about how it's the most important thing ever. So before we get into the actual layoffs, let's actually talk about those particular awards with the Canadian Game Awards. These are all the awards that South of Midnight won at the Canadian Game Awards. They won the Best Art Direction at the Canadian Game Awards. They actually won the Best Score and Soundtrack as well. Keep in mind, guys, Best Art Direction. Have you seen some of the art for this video game? I'm not going to pretend like it's the ugliest video game ever. There are definitely...
Whether it's ugly or not, to me, is completely irrelevant. Because I'm so goddamn tired of that Spider-Verse ass looking aesthetic. I fucking hate it. Whether it be in video games like Mixtape or South of Midnight, or whether it be in movies, I'm so goddamn tired of this Spider-Verse ass looking aesthetic that this is a played out art design that it has run its course. Move the fuck on. And what the fuck is the Canadian Game Awards? It's literally what it sounds like. It is Game Awards specifically in Canada, specifically for games made by Canadian studios. If your game was made outside of a Canadian studio, you're not allowed entry. It's part of Canada's initiative to like promote their own content. Same reason that like Canada has a law where X amount of programming shown on Canadian TV needs to actually be made in Canada and be from Canadian productions. So that's what it is. It's basically it's just there. It's a government shill operation basically to promote Canadian video games.
Some moments, especially in the environments that look really good. But when you're talking about best overall art direction and looking at this game, I don't think that's exactly correct, especially when it was going up against video games like Marvel Cosmic Invasion, for example, that in my opinion had way better art direction than South of Midnight. But hey, what do I know? It also got best narrative. It won best narrative at the Canadian Game Awards as well. The game also won best audio design at the Game Awards and also won best console game at the Canadian Game Awards as well. And then, of course, because obviously it has.
Now, I will defend best console game because Canadians aren't smart enough to build PCs.
To it won Game of the Year. South of Midnight ended up beating out video games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, Hell Is Us, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and Wanderstop. Now, listen, I made fun of.
And again, the reason being all those is not, at least none of those to my knowledge were Canadian games, so they weren't in the running. But yeah.
Assassin's Creed Shadows as much as anybody. I actually played the game to completion. It's on my streams. You could go see for yourself. But
damn. Hypno played that game to completion. That last guy who just watched must think that Hypno is a secret centrist wokey.
Assassin's Creed Shadows, I will admit, is infinitely better than South of Midnight, and that's not saying much. Not only that,
gotcha. Okay,
Hell Is Us is infinitely better than both of those video games. So what the hell are we doing? And then, of course, because it won Game of the Year, naturally, it has to win Studio of the Year. Compulsion Games won Studio.
Okay, this one I didn't remember. I'm sure while I was reading about the Canadian Game Awards and all the awards, I'm sure I read, but Studio of the Year. And then 2 months later, I don't even think 2 months later, like a month and a half later, Xbox announces they're shutting the studio down. Now, to be fair, that's pretty par for the course for Xbox. Like me and Hypno were talking last night about it. They announced the new Senua game, Ninja Theory did, at Summer Game Fest. Only for 2 weeks later, Xbox would be like, yeah, we shutting your ass down. And they probably knew in advance, if I had to wager a guess. Well, actually, maybe not. A lot of these companies don't tell in advance. They just fucking do it because they don't want to lower morale or whatnot. But yeah, the winning Studio of the Year and then a month and a half later getting shut down. When we say these awards mean nothing, this is what we're talking about. The awards mean nothing. I don't give a fuck how many awards you got. Did your shit sell? Because if it didn't make money, then why would people continue to invest in it? Why would your investor continue to put money into it? Why would Microsoft continue to put money into your studio if your shit doesn't sell? Awards don't pay bills.
Of the Year against Rogue Factor, Tribute Games, Yellow Brick Games, and Digital Extremes. Studio of the Year. And now we've seen exactly what that means. Now, why is this important, right? It's because when we look at the industry as a whole, it is one massive circle jerk. We all know that. You know that. I know that. We look at the industry and we realize that it's a bunch of people looking at each other, telling each other how great of a job that they're doing and how the chuds don't mean anything and how gamers are just so stupid. They just can't understand the glorious art that they're doing every single day at these studios. They just can't understand. These plebs have no idea about how important our mission is to do XYZ, whatever the hell it is they're talking about. This is how they talk about us. This is how they treat us. And it's for a reason, right? So now this brings us home to the truth.
I'm loving these shots that make it look like this dumb bitch is creeping up on Hypno from behind. Like this, I know it's not like intentional, or maybe it was knowing Hypno. I don't know. But these shots make it look like she is just creeping on him from behind. It's fucking wild, dude.
Truth, because the truth always comes out, whether positive or negative, right? There are some video games that the chuds have decided to make fun of that actually did pretty decent, and they got to take the L on that. But most of the time, 95+% of the time, it results in exactly this. IGN reports that Microsoft has reportedly shut down South of Midnight developer Compulsion Games.
And here's the thing. So I first saw this news from Pirate Nation. Now, I don't like Pirate Nation. I mean, I don't dislike Pirate Nation, but he gets a lot of shit wrong. He's very ideological, right? Which leads me to believe he's got a vested interest in a certain narrative being correct. So anytime I see news from Pirate Nation, I take it with a grain of salt until I see these industry clowns, these journalists reporting on it. And if Pirate Nation says the same thing as IGN or Kotaku or whatnot, at that point, it's like, okay, this rumor probably got some merit to it. When you've got IGN and Kotaku saying the same thing as the right-wing anti-woke grifters and whatnot, there's probably some validity to those rumors.
This has caused a wave, okay? This has caused a storm all over social media. People are looking at this announcement and they are running with it to the grave. Everybody is just laughing at this studio and this video game for a multitude of reasons. In case you guys are not aware, it has been semi-confirmed, but again, not really 100% confirmed. But it has been reported many times over that this video game initially had a white female character that they were going to work on. There was even a model.
Now, I don't think this part's true. Not that Hypno is lying or anything like that. The model, I think, was a placeholder model because the original actress was a black actress. Now, whether they had, and they actually fired her for not sounding ethnic enough. They replaced their original black actress with a different black actress because that was their reasoning. Even though she was black, she didn't sound ethnic enough. So with that being the case, I do think that this model here, this white model, was always that's gone around was just a placeholder model, and that the original one was always going to be black. But that's just my take on it.
Showcase that has made the rounds all over social media of a character that was designed for this game initially. And then all of a sudden, they hired the consultancy firm Sweet Baby Inc. And upon hiring Sweet Baby Inc., all of a sudden, you realize that, wow, the character has been changed to a black female that looks eerily similar to certain people.
By the way, the black actress was pre-Sweet Baby Inc. It was Sweet Baby Inc. Yeah, no, I that's why I said that. I didn't think you were lying or anything. I was just adding my thoughts on it. The black actress that was originally cast and was portraying the main character was pre-Sweet Baby Inc. It was Sweet Baby Inc. when they came in, made the call to fire her for not being ethnic enough. It wasn't even Compulsion Games. I mean, obviously it was Compulsion Games that did in fact do the firing because they're the ones in charge. But that mentality of this black chick not sounding ethnic enough did not exist in Compulsion Games until Sweet Baby Inc. came in and said it.
That we know. Not only that, something recent just happened. There was actually somebody who worked on South of Midnight, an artist who worked on South of Midnight and worked with Microsoft as a whole. And they openly admitted that Microsoft actually discourages developers from creating curvy female characters in its games. The artist shared his own stylized drawings of Lara Croft with a curvier look, showing the stark difference between his own personal designs and what is allowed in the official projects over at Microsoft. And according to him, this reflects a trend that many people have noticed across several Xbox video games in recent years. And looking at these pictures, it is drastic. I mean, can you imagine if they actually designed a character like this? I mean, look at this. Lara Croft in the style of South of Midnight, meaning like the stop motion animation kind of claim.
And I dig this design. I won't lie. I think this. If this was on the PS2 back in the day, this would be sick.
Animation design. Look at this. This is unbelievable. It's so different. It's actually it's insane.
Yes, sir,
now you have people melting down about all of this because let's be real. They look at this video game as an ideological win for whatever that reason may be. There's a lot of people online that focus on the circle jerk more than the actual game itself. So when they look at these games and they see them getting high review scores, and when they look at these games and they see them winning a bunch of awards from the same established media that gives out those awards, right? When they see them winning all of this, they look at these games and they say, well, the chuds are wrong. The chuds are wrong. Everybody likes this game. Everybody's playing this game. Just look at the reviews. Look at the awards that it's winning. It must mean that it's a good video game. Well, no, obviously not. That's not true. That's never been true. The industry is for itself. It's always been for itself. None of that has ever changed. And when you look at this kind of video game, you'll clearly see that the disconnect between the actual established media and the gaming industry compared to the gamers and what they want and what they say they want every day is so vast now, we might as well be in different universes. I'll give you an example. There's somebody here by the name of Victor Lucas who says if Microsoft is closing down Compulsion Games immediately following their multiple wins across several categories at the Canadian Game Awards for a game that could clearly be the exact long-running exclusive action-adventure franchise that differentiates the Xbox brand from the other companies.
First of all, it doesn't differentiate the Xbox brand from other companies. You just had generic black girl story, which is the same story we've been getting over and over. Also, and I'm sure this is what HitNo's about to go into. Oh well, it didn't sell. Why would a sequel miraculously sell if the first one was a fucking flop? In fact, such a flop that Xbox does not see any reason to keep the entire studio around. Shut down the whole fucking studio because this game did that poorly. Yes, obviously money talks, bullshit walks.
This would be the ultimate stepping on a rake move. Compulsion crushed it on an original IP. I really hope this rumor is not true. Hashtag South Midnight should be the beginning of something really special. I want reality.
Yeah, it should have been. Had they made a good game and not brought in all the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff and actually, had what I assume would, should be like good combat, given HitNo's comments about wanting to turn the combat off. Like, had they done all that, maybe it could have been the start of something special. By the way, I love the setting in this game. I was interested in this game prior to the Sweet Baby, knowing about the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, purely because I love, like deep South folklore. Right? I spent a lot of time in Louisiana, boys. I spent a lot of time in Louisiana. I love deep South folklore. The setting for this game actually seems awesome. Everything else around it seems like it fucking sucks. And guess it must up for the gamers as well, because it didn't sell shit. It could have been the start of something special if they did a bunch of other things differently and actually treated it like it was special instead of like a little ideological pet project. Vanity project even.
Been really fast for these people, because here's the truth about all of this. It doesn't matter about how you feel about the game, and it doesn't matter about how I feel about the game. It doesn't matter about what anybody online in terms of the content creator space feels about the game. What matters is how regular gamers every single day that look at these video games on their home pages, how they feel about the game. And it's pretty obvious based on the performance of the game that most people said that this is not appealing to them. Most people said that this is a video game that doesn't really call to me. Like, why would I even bother investing my time or my money into playing this video game? This thing looks stupid. I have zero interest to play it. And the truth is that a lot of you guys out there that were shilling for this video game, most of you didn't actually buy the game either. This is the beautiful part about this. The Access Media does everything they possibly can to maintain that access.
If you are in the Discord, put a link or something in the Discord, and I'll cover it tomorrow because this is the last thing I'm doing today. This is the last video I'm going over today. But if you're in the Discord, put whatever you're referring to in the Discord, and we can cover it tomorrow. Because I already covered the UK stuff earlier.
And by doing so, they get these kind of games for free. They get review copies for free. And even if they don't get it for free, if they are Xbox shills, they are going to utilize Game Pass 9 out of 10 times in order to play said video game for free, essentially. Obviously, this is a subscription, but you get what I'm saying. They don't actually buy the fucking game. So when you look at this stuff and you realize, oh, wow, most of these people that are shilling for this game never actually supported the game monetarily, but they're running around and telling everybody else that they need to do so and that it's a bad thing.
And that is the difference. When we talk about shills, right? When we talk about shills, the word gets thrown around a lot, and I don't think it's on the brink of losing meaning, like, like woke and racist and Nazi and things like that. But the word shill, there's a reason we refer to as industry shills. Because when they shill for a specific game or whatnot, it has nothing to do with their love of the game or of any game. It is their love, and these are, like the Booty Adams of the world, right? The Booty Adams, the Paul Tassies. It's not from a passion for the games on an individual level. It is a sense of superiority that they get for being in a club that the rest of us aren't in. When they can like the free access to the games, that's I'm sure that they find that nice. But honestly, that's probably the part they care about the least. It's not even like, oh, I got this game for free, so I can play it without having to pay for it. No, they like getting the goodie bags, the swag. They like going to the industry events. They like being invited to the Game Awards. They like being invited to all the fancy parties. Like that is where the industry shill aspect really matters, because it is, it's the same. It's the old George Carlin bit. Now, obviously, he's talking about, government corruption shit. But when he says it's a big fucking club and you're not in it, that is what gets these shills off. The fact that they get to have the access that we don't, and that gives them a sense of superiority.
If these games disappear, well, that's your fault at the end of the day. You are making it seem as if everybody should play this game when the majority of people have spoken, even if they don't have platforms to speak. The platform of choice to speak is with the wallet. The wallet is the ultimate platform. And most people said that they're not going to spend money on this game, resulting in the closing of the studio. Speaking of money, let's actually talk about money. Think about how much money these video games actually take to make. Something like South of Midnight, right, would probably cost anywhere between, I would say, $60 to $100 million, depending on the situation, because stop motion animation is not cheap. The kind of animation that they actually went through for South of Midnight, a video game that was essentially a walking simulator with combat that was so bare bone basic, you might as well remove it from the game to have a better experience.
South of Midnight reportedly had a massive development and marketing budget exceeding over $100 million. Exceeding over $100 million. Estimates for sales, around 500,000 copies. Didn't even break a milli. Hypno actually lowballed it, according to what Google's saying.
I'm not even kidding. Where did the money go? Where did the time go from a studio that has almost 100 people working for it? There's layoff discussions happening right now where supposedly about 90 plus people are going to be laid off from the South of Midnight Compulsion Games. Where did this time go? Where did this money go? This is one of the biggest problems affecting the Western gaming industry right now. Budgets are out of control. Money is being spent on nonsense, and everywhere. Time is being wasted by people that don't have the talent.
I would like to remind you guys, Expedition 33 was made by a dev team of 33 people. I get it. They also outsource a lot of stuff to a different studio in like South Korea or something like that. But the game was made effectively by 33 people. Yep, there we go, baby. Brick by brick. Talking about video game studios getting shut down gets me bricked.
To waste said time. This is really what's causing so many problems in the gaming industry right now, specifically the Western gaming industry, because very rarely do we see stories about Eastern video games being in development hell. Very rarely do we see stories about Eastern video games having bloated budgets. The only ones that seem to have insane budgets are the video games that deserve the insane budgets. For example, Resident Evil video games from Capcom. Those video games are known to sell massive amounts at full price. People will buy the game day one because of the legacy of that franchise, whether you like where it's going or not. Nobody can deny.
Hypno, are you still watching? Are you still watching the stream? Because I got to know. Did you throw in that whether you like where it's going or not because of me? Did you throw that line into this video because of me? Because I got a feeling you did. Maybe I was being too self-aggrandizing here. Maybe I'm being too conceited. But I feel like he added that little qualifier specifically because of me. And if so, I'm honored.
The fact that those games sell a metric amount at full price. So they're going to make their money back. So their budgets are earned and deserved. And the quality usually shows, at least in the presentation of the game. South of Midnight, not so much. So then why all this? Why all this money? Why all this time? Why waste everything on a game like this? It's because for Xbox, at least in the past anyway, I don't know about now with Asha Sharma being in charge, But in the past, it was more important for them to showcase what it meant as a message for their game versus how much it was actually going to appeal to people that were going to buy it. You see, subsidization was a big problem in the Western gaming industry, and it still is.
So subsidization is a problem, but it's more consolidation. And I think I said this on Saturday Night Hypnosis the other night. Consolidation is the death of any industry. It when you see, Paramount buying up WB, when you see Activision Blizzard getting bought up, when you see Bethesda getting bought up, that's consolidation. And consolidation is the death of any industry.
Is in Canada or even the UK, for example, it is a big problem because with subsidization comes laziness, right? With subsidization comes the ability to do nonsense and have no fear over losing your job. Subsidization allows you to not perform and be able to still keep your job. That's the biggest issue in the Western gaming industry. Now, in the United States, subsidization has become a lot harder. A lot of the money that was freely being given away before is no longer being available anymore. However, in places like Canada and in the UK, not so much. You have plenty of ability to get money from outside funding sources, usually governmental, no problem. So subsidization is still an issue in the Western gaming industry in those places specifically, which is why it seems so hilarious to me that a lot of the studios that were lasting for a very long time with video games that were not performing were all basically based in either the UK or in Canada. But now it seems like eventually it's going to come home at some point, and you're going to have to realize that subsidization is still only going to go so far. See, the money's going to dry up at some point. It always does. And it could last as long as it's going to last. But with video games like South to Midnight that reportedly cost anywhere between $60 to $100 million, only making enough sales to make about $1 to $2 million before the actual...
Yeah, we covered the Brit stuff at the beginning of the stream, so you can go back and watch it. We're going to be wrapping the stream up after this video.
Fees are taken out from places like Steam, well, then you're not going to last very long, right? Xbox, especially since Xbox right now is trying to rebrand itself and trying to save money. I've said so many times, and I will say it again, when it comes to Xbox, it's very clear that they are going to subsidize themselves by removing people that no longer are profitable. What do I mean by that? Well,
which means removing almost everyone. Like almost every studio. The only studio that I can think of that is going to rake in the cash for Xbox is Bethesda. Whether you like Bethesda or not, it is irrelevant. They are the only ones that are going to bring in, when a new Elder Scrolls game drops and when a new Fallout game drops, they are going to do numbers. And if Asha is to be trusted, she says she's prioritizing that.
Have conversations about Xbox Game Pass going down in price, right? And I told you guys, Xbox was not profitable with Game Pass at $29.99. Granted, Call of Duty was involved in that, so we got to see how that actually affects Game Pass. But by reducing the price of Game Pass, it's still not.
Well, that's why I said if Asha Sharma sticks to what she said, so that basically we covered this. Pretty sure I covered on Neon Leon on Friday. Stated that the Elder Scrolls and Fallout need to be prioritized. Like she straight up said they are the ones that need to be prioritized. So I think it is now more win than if because of that. Because Xbox needs this win. Xbox needs a W. So I do think it actually is happening.
Profitable. The only way they're going to continue down this route is by subsidizing Game Pass somehow, some way. And they're going to look at all their
Blizzard,
studios,
yes,
which they own a lot of studios, by the way. They're going to look at these studios and they're going to say, are you worth it? Are you really worth it to keep around? Are you worth it to actually invest money in and continue to subsidize? Like, what do you bring to us, right? Think about this. What did Compulsion Games actually bring to the table with their recent game, South to Midnight? I understand they had other video games in their pipeline that they had worked on in the past, but I'm talking about this particular video game. This one they decided to change what actually was brought to the table with this game. Because again, I played this game. All right. I played this game to completion. This was one of the most boring video games that I actually played. I tried to look for the positives in this game, and there were very few. The positives that I can mention really quick on video off the top of my head is probably the music and the environmental art. I think the music and the environmental art was pretty spot on with this particular game. And I really enjoyed those aspects of that game because I focused on that to drag me through the garbage story that was being told, the garbage combat that was being showcased, and the exploration that was pretty fucking standard and otherwise very boring in this video game.
I'm not too familiar. I don't know that I've played any Ninja Theory games except for, didn't they do the DMC reboot? Let me check real quick. Yeah. I like the gameplay of the DMC reboot. I hate the story. I hate the story as a massive Devil May Cry fan. But the gameplay was spot on. I'm pretty sure that is the only Ninja Theory game I've ever played. So I can't speak to whether they're a good studio or not.
I mean, for God's sakes, you run around collecting things called floops that look awfully close to cotton. Again, I'm not the one who designed it, so don't come yelling at me about that. But again, guys, this is where I really want to drive the conversation home with this video. When it comes to Xbox, they're clearly going to be subsidizing themselves by closing down studios that are no longer profitable and that haven't been profitable for a very long time. Compulsion Games, what are they even working on now? What are they focusing on now? Again, I hate the fact that we are at this point in time in the Western gaming industry where it takes these studios closing, it takes these people losing their jobs for them to come even anywhere close to learning about the situation that's happening, right? Because these people, they'll talk massive amounts of crap to gamers while they are being subsidized. They'll talk an insane amount of crap when they feel really comfortable thinking that Big Daddy Microsoft is going to be in their corner protecting their ideology and protecting their nonsense and subsidizing all their garbage. But the moment that goes away, the moment all of that slowly starts to deteriorate, then you realize
There's always been their problem. They keep making story-driven games. So, I don't doubt that. I don't know. Again, since the only Ninja Theory game I've ever played is the DMC reboot, and the story is the problem in that. If that's also the case with all their other games, I wouldn't be surprised because story was a big fucking problem in the DMC reboot. Bleeding Edge, never played Bleeding Edge.
very quickly that these people were never actually the skilled developers that they thought that they were. And the truth is that some of them might actually have talent. Some of them might actually be capable of being able to make really good video games. But unfortunately,
wait, did they do Heavenly Sword? I didn't know Ninja Theory did Heavenly Sword. I played Heavenly Sword back in the day. I actually use Heavenly Sword as an example of like when back in the day when games were coming out, it was just banger after banger after banger. Things like Heavenly Sword fell through the cracks. It's not a bad game. It's also not a great game. Like Heavenly Sword is just it's a good enough game. And because it came out in a time when we were just getting straight bangers all the time, Heavenly Sword sort of fell through the cracks, fell by the wayside, and is just kind of remembered as this weird little nostalgic niche piece of PS3 history.
they're either overwhelmed with their own ideology or they're surrounded by people that rather talk about politics and waste time drinking Starbucks than actually sitting there and developing video games and buckling down to ensure that the best experience is available for the players that are going to supposedly play their game at the time. And again, guys, the cope is massive. You got a comment like this that I want to cover before we end this video from somebody called Average Writer that says, buddy, your gamer voice means nothing. The game won awards and people liked it. Unfortunately, it fell to capitalism, which is too big.
It fell to capitalism, which is too big brain for someone that pisses their pants over black people. What are we talking about? Yeah, first of all, it did fall to capitalism. If by fall to capitalism you mean the free hand of the market decided. The free hand of the market decided they don't want this game. Yes, that's how it's supposed to work. What do you mean it's too big brain a concept? This is how the system should work. Free hand of the market decides. And this game had everything in its favor fighting against the free hand of the market. It had fucking consultation companies and government tax incentives. Had the backing of major studios like major companies like Microsoft, Xbox. And yet the free hand of the market still fisted this game into oblivion. Holy fuck, dude.
Big brain for someone that pisses their pants over black people. You know, every time I read comments like this, I think to myself, you guys deserve this. Like, you guys deserve everything. Like, everything that you're losing, all these studios, they close down continuously, all these video games that flop, all these developers, they lose their jobs that you guys say you love so much, but you don't financially support. You guys deserve this. Every single one of the people that are out there that are ideologically driven, like this guy who's bringing up capitalism for the reason why this game failed. You know what? You're not far off, my guy. Capitalism is the reason why this game failed. Because
Yes! I love it when I beat Hypno to a point. I'm going to be real. I love it when I beat Hypno to a point. Because when it comes to SNH and we all argue so much and shit like that, when I beat him to a point and he says what I says, like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. People call me the bad take king or whatnot. My takes are almost always correct. Dope.
free market is going to decide whether or not something succeeds or whether something fails. And South at Midnight is a video game that was never going to appeal to the mass market. It was never going to appeal to the free market enough to warrant its budget. And this is the biggest problem in the Western gaming industry. They are designing video games with budgets as if they're going to be mass appeal to everybody and their mother. Meanwhile, you look at the video game and you say, who is this for? I mean, how many times have we asked this question? Every single video game we look at, we think to ourselves, who is this for? Who is this game for?
Well, this game was for Shaniqua, Shanae, Ladasha, spelled L-A-A, Ladasha. That's what this game was for. Fun fact, Ladasha don't play games, bro. Ladasha don't play games. Shanae and Shaniqua don't play games.
Who designed it? Why did you design this game? Now, granted, every video game has a right to exist, so long as you understand that your budget should be in line with what you're designing. If you're making a niche video game, you should probably not have a non-niche budget. That's what I'm really trying to say here. You want to go make a video game like Dragon Age: The Veilguard? Go ahead. But the problem is that, number one, you co-opted a franchise that was never like that garbage that you made. And number two, even if it wasn't a co-opted franchise and you made something that was brand new, that was similar to Dragon Age: The Veilguard, your budget would probably be like $300-500 million. Why are you doing that when it was never going to appeal to that many people? So this is where we're at, boys. I mean, ultimately, you kind of have to laugh at it, and it's unfortunate. It really is. It's unfortunate that we have to go through this. It's unfortunate that studios have to be shut down. It's unfortunate that developers have to lose their job. All of it's unfortunate because it's one massive circle.
Nah, I don't think it's unfortunate at all. And here's why I don't think it's unfortunate. And I know Hypno isn't saying it's unfortunate in terms of like being sympathetic to these people because they dug their own graves. The way I sees it, there was this thing after the Atari called the video game crash. If you know what I mean? And people blame it on the ET game, which is a meme. If you look in the actual history of the 1983 or 84, whatever year it was, video game crash, ET was like more just a circumstance than the actual cause. It's kind of like blaming Frost for ruining G4 when G4 was already it was dying anyway. But no, the video game crash happened. And then what happened in 1985? Nintendo comes out with the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Famicom in Japan. Revitalized the industry like a phoenix from the ashes, son. We need another one. We need another video game crash. So I don't think it's unfortunate at all. I want to see a video game crash, at least when it comes to major studios and whatnot. Because indie's always going to be out there rocking it, especially with the accessibility of PC nowadays. That's not the point. We need another video game crash because it will force the industry to rise again like a phoenix from the ashes with new innovation, with new ideas, or maybe not even new ideas. Really just going back to old ideas that worked in the mid-2000s, early 2010s that they have strayed from. I can't wait for it.
Jerk of people telling each other that they're doing an amazing job, giving each other awards that are voted on by the journalists that give them all the top review scores because it makes their ideology happy. It's a circle jerk that always results in the same exact thing at the end of the circle, which is praise the game, give it an award, studio closes down, and everybody questions, why did it happen? It's unbelievable. You know why it happened. We know why it happened, but you'll never address it. And guess what?
It's like that fucking Eric Andre meme or whatnot. Like fucking, he's sitting there holding the gun, shoots the dude on the shoots the dude on the fucking chair, shoots Hannibal Buress or whatever. It's like, studio is making bad games. Shoots the studio. Why did Gamer Chuds let this happen?
But you're never going to learn from it, because there's video games that have already released recently that have all gone through the same exact thing, and their fates are sealed, and it's only a matter of time before we find out. And it's the same thing that's going to happen in the future. Other video games are going to come out. They're going to scratch your little ideological happy itch, and then before you know it, a year later or even less, you're going to be talking about the studio closure, or you're going to be talking about layoffs. It happens every single damn time. And at what point do we realize that none of this has to happen? Literally none of this has to happen. We don't have to be doing this. We don't have to be suffering layoffs. We don't have to be firing people left and right. People want to spend money. Gamers want to spend money, but they're only going to spend money on video games that actually appeal to them. And I'm not saying you got to make every video game the same exact game, but what I'm telling you is that stop inflating your budgets. The executive
Definition of insanity, baby. Definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Because as much as these people want to say, oh, it's 50% female gamers now. Oh, these games are made to appeal to everyone. Oh, we put all the money and the marketing into this, and it got all the Game Awards exposure. So of course people are going to show up. It always happens. You can try and spin these narratives any way you want. You can try and spin every single one of these narratives however you want. But when a studio closes down, and when you lay off fucking 300 people or whatnot, that tells the real story. You're doing the same thing and expecting different results. You love to see it.
Out there that are blowing money on nonsense, this garbage, stop it. It's so ridiculous, and it doesn't have to happen. So that's it, guys, for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. Make sure to like the video, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this overall nonsense regarding South at Midnight, which, by the way, it's not even just Compulsion Games that is closing down. There are multiple other studios that are reportedly closing down as well that I'm going to probably do videos on also, depending on how, what kind of information comes out. But let me know in the comments. And don't forget to join my live streams every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern over on HypnoCast. We stream every day. We talk about the news for the week. So make sure to come hang out there. Or if you want to watch my gaming streams, go check out Hypnotic Gaming Live. I stream every day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern over there. We stream video games, currently streaming Lego Batman. Chapter 4 I'm on right now. There's 5 chapters total. We're almost done. So come hang out with us. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see all of you on the next video.
Based. Excellent video. There's the link. Make sure you guys give it a like, the whole line. Put in the work. Yeah, you'll love to see it. I don't even really know what more I can add. They brought this on themselves. The journalists brought this on themselves as well. Like every single journalist that capped for South at Midnight, helped and aided and abetted in this. They did this because they were being disingenuous. They were lying, which, I mean, again, we're not a gaming journalist, pretty par for the fucking course, but that's the way it goes down nowadays. Like they care more about being industry shills than gamers. And when you see an industry shill and you see somebody who wants to prop up the idea of getting access and going to the fancy parties more than actually talking about the merits of the games, this is what will inevitably happen. You have fostered an environment of people who do not care about games, and because of that, games are suffering. Who would have fucking thought? That being said, I gotta start getting ready. I got a concert to go to tonight and got some errands and shit to run before then. Let's see who we're raiding. Over on Kick, I don't really see anybody live right now that I know, but let's check the YouTube side of things. Let's see. Carolyn, Mo's Gamer. Oh, you know what? Let's raid Mo. I very rarely get to raid Mo. We're going to raid Mo Zamboni. My homeboy Mo Zamboni. So go in there, say Vital Idol Raid. I will see you guys tomorrow for the lunch hour. And until next time, it's all here in the Nervosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.